Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the farm. Today I wanted to do a little video because last week, if you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw that we got cows. I was also really ill that week. My test result was negative for COVID, but I still say I had it. So, but I'm feeling much better and our household is feeling much better. So I wanted to do a video today to show you how we take care of our new cows. It's not my first time being around livestock, but it's the first time I've owned them personally, and the same thing for my husband. So this is a whole new learning curve for us. Now, we do have some friends who are involved with dairy and other livestock who have helped us. But so I always suggest that if you want to get into having any type of livestock animal, to make friends or call upon a friend who does have livestock. That way you're not spending thousands of dollars in veterinary care. Now, there is a time and a place for a vet, but I would say that most farmers who have livestock, they know what they're doing. They've had years of experience and they treat a lot of things themselves. So I always say it's good to have somebody to use for reference. And then when things go wrong, or if there's a problem that you guys cannot figure out, it's good to have a close veterinary that is close to you that you guys can be friends with, because sometimes when it happens when you least expect it or at the wrong time of day. So anyways, to go on, I'm going to go ahead and mix our milk replacer. I do have a milk replacer that is milk-based. I would suggest, if you're going to do this, to research beforehand. I avoided soy-based products. I was told by multiple friends that you're going to have a lot more health to the animal and you're going to have a lot better luck. They're going to like it better. It's just buy a premium milk replacer. This one is a 2120. It's 21 crude protein and 20% fat, crude fat. It's a whey-based and milk-based product. You can read all the label information on any of the bags you're going to be looking at. I would suggest you do that beforehand. This bag, we bought it in Amish country. I was not able to find a good one at Tractor Supply that I liked, but some of our other bigger box stores, like our Field and Stock and or Big R. Hold on.
My waist don't pass my way.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Next, after you get a good milk-based product, I would suggest looking into maybe some things that you might add to their diet. When you get a new cow, the stress of transferring them to your property may bring on some other things such as scours. If you do not know what scours is, know what it is before you bring your calf home. You're going to have a lot more problems with a calf that's still on milk replacer on scours, especially if it's new or newborn. My other suggestion is if you're going to get a newborn calf, make sure it's had several days where it's had colostrum from the mother cow. If you do not do that, their chances of them thriving significantly drop. There's a lot of things in colostrum that they need. It helps start their own digestive system, a lot of antibodies and other things that cow is going to need. So make sure that they get that. If you do not have, if you get a cow that's brand new and they were not on colostrum, I might want to look at getting a cow from someplace else. Or if you have a friend who has any, that would be good as well. Speaking of a friend, if they have their own cows, if you can get raw milk is going to be better for your calf than any type of milk replacer that you could get. But a lot of people don't have access to raw milk, especially depending on the state that you're in and how fresh it is. Milk replacer still might be the best bet for you. Now, for me, I do the bottle feeding. There are buckets that you can get, but I wanted to create a bond with our cows. I want my children to bond with the cows, so we choose to do it this way. If you want to do the bucket, you can. It's just as easy, but we wanted to look and touch the cows while we were feeding them. And I can tell you right now, the cows did not like being touched when we first got them that much. Now they love to be rubbed. The male, who was the most skittish, he really did not like being touched, did not like being approached. He will stand and you can scratch and brush him down all the way down to his feet. He lets me clean his tail. And that has happened over a week of bottle feeding. So I highly suggest this if you want to have the cows be very you want to handle them a lot, you might want to do this. So the other thing is I started adding apple cider vinegar to the milk replacer we add a teaspoon per bottle. So for per 2-quart bottle, I do 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. You want to make sure that it is raw. It has the mother in it. Sometimes you see that other bottle that says it has the mother in it. You'll see it has some gook at the bottom. Shake it up before you put it in there. I also add oats. I had a friend who has a herd of Jersey cows, and he suggested this to me to help with scours, to help with getting their system going. That now you want to make sure that it says whole grain rolled oats. Whole grain, no other additives. This is straight up rolled oats. It does say quick 1 minute. That just means the pieces are smaller. After doing some reading, I found out that oats can help develop the rumen in the cow's digestive system. Unlike other animals, cows are not born with a fully developed rumen, which is a segment of their stomachs that digests the grains and grasses later. So you want to start developing that early, because if you try to wean them later and you haven't done that, they're not going to do well being weaned, because they need their rumen to be more developed before you take them off milk replacer or milk. I did open up the nipple just a little bit with a butter knife. It's still, for the most part, the dye, but it's not quite as enclosed. That way some of this can gets through a little bit better. Now, when you are making your milk replacer, you want to, make sure you're doing it kind of precise, because too much milk replacer per 2-quart bottle of water, you can cause them to have some more digestive issues if you make it too strong. But you also don't want to make it too light. I don't know if that's the right word, but you don't want to go too light-handed on the milk replacer, because then you might be cutting their nutrition short, and you don't want to do that either. All of the bags will have good instructions on how to mix. Now, I did read a really good study about doing this, and they said if you're going to do a bucket and you actually do 2 quarts of water, then you can do the full 10 ounces that this label suggests to add to 2 quarts of water. Now, when you do this and you add, now I have 2 cows, so there's 4 quarts of water in here. Well, technically there's a little less. But if you're doing this and you did 4 quarts and you added the full 20 ounces, which is 10 ounces per 2-quart bottle, you're going to have a lot left over. And now when I did have leftover, I just fed them to my cats. My cats loved it. And my dogs when they got to it. But I did learn through this study that if you want to make it more precise, you go down to just over 8 ounces per 2-quart bottle, because when you're not going to fill the bottle fully with water. So I have since then gotten to the point where I know exactly that this right here I've measured is just under 4 quarts of water. And then I usually measure out the exact amount that I need in weight. So you're going to want a kitchen scale. Here's my kitchen scale I got for super cheap. And here, we'll take you to go measure out some milk. This is I did not get a scoop. My premium mix milk replacer did not come with a pre-measured scoop in it. You want to be careful if you do get one that has a scoop, because depending on the density of the actual milk replacer, it may be you're doing more or less than you actually think, because technically the instructions, when you read the instructions, it says you want to do 10 ounces of milk replacer. Now, ounces is a weight measurement, not a volume measurement. So I tear this out so that it comes to be 0 ounces. Then we'll go take this, excuse my house, we're definitely a farmhouse. Okay, so I store the milk replacer here. I have a can there on it so that the animals stay out of it, because I was having a problem with my puppies once they figured out where it is. So now I know exactly kind of where the amount of ounces I've pre-measured, so I kind of know where I'm gonna land. A little bit more, hold on. I know that I want to be over 8 ounces per bottle. So that would put me, now that's too much, because that's almost 10 ounces per bottle. So I'm going to take some of this out. Well, here, let me get a container. kid bowl to the rescue. Now that would put me at about a little over 9 ounces per bottle, so I don't want quite that much either. So that's about 9. I kind of usually try to keep it between somewhere in the upper 17s, because that's just over 18. About 18, a little over 18 and a half. I'm sorry, a little over 8.5 ounces per bottle. So we're close to 10, but just under, in order to get this just under, because this isn't quite. This is 2 quarts, but once you mix this in, it'll be 2 quarts. I hope that makes sense. If you have questions, we'll try and clarify it. So the next step is you want your milk replacer to be pretty warm. A cow's temperature is a little over 100 degrees, 101. So this is going to be a lot warmer than if you have a baby, what a formula would feel like. It's going to feel pretty hot. So you want it to be about 110-ish, 107-ish degrees, so that you're not taking energy away from the cow to keep themselves warm, because if you do it where it's like 100 degrees, well, that's less than the temperature the cow is. So it's going to be pretty warm compared to, like, I don't want to keep my finger in it really. And also you want to account for how much time it takes to get this out to the cows. If it takes you a couple minutes and it's cold outside, which it is right now, it's winter, you do want this to be even a little hotter than you think you need it, because then you're going to lose a degree or 2 as you're transferring it to the bottles out to the barn. So here, now we're going to put it in there. Okay, now I did get distracted talking to you guys and forgot to put in, I typically put in the oats before I start warming up the hot water, just because then it has a chance to soften up. But I'll just add a little bit now. I don't do very much, literally maybe like a 1/4 cup, just a little bit for them to get in their digestive system. It kind of, the way my friend explained it to me is oatmeal kind of helps coat, you know, and slow down the passage of things through their intestines. I don't know, I'm not a veterinary, and I'm certainly not the most experienced person in the world with owning cattle, but this is just what was told for me to do. You may have also heard that you can add a raw egg per bottle to help them as well, but I did that the first couple days, and I think that I prefer to just do the oatmeal, and then we will do the apple cider vinegar inside the bottle. Now that I have this measured out to be the correct amount of ounces that I want it to be, I know I can just add it to our milk. And of course I got it a little wet. And then you want to mix it. I have seen people do it with other ways. I thought initially that I was going to use my immersion blender. You know, you kind of make shakes with it. It's got a little blender at the end, but it's really not necessary. The whisk works really, really well. It's already mostly dissolved. It's kind of a waste of time and cleaning to do any other kind of way. Honestly, this blender, this way of blending it together works really, really well. You don't want any dry cake pieces inside of it, because those can clog up the end of your bottle. So just make sure that it's well blended in. You can see there's a little bit of oatmeal in there, and it's already pretty soft, so I'm not going to worry about needing to cook it anymore. It's still pretty hot. Okay. Now I can add my, you could put it straight in here if you wanted, but I like to know that they have an equal amount. So I tend to put it right inside their bottle. 1 tablespoon. And 1 tablespoon. Now, a lot of people continue to give raw apple cider vinegar the whole life of the cow. It helps with immunities. If you're into organic gardening or organic methods of growing your own food, such as livestock, it helps with their immunity. It does a lot of other good things. It's overall a good supplement to add to their feed. So a lot of people do it in their feed even later to their grains. Now, the best way that I've found to get the milk actually out of here, you could use a ladle or something like that, but I mean, I wake up at 4:30 in the morning to do this, so I'm trying to do it as quickly as possible and without making a bigger mess than I already have. So I typically use this measuring thing. It works pretty good as long as I'm not going too fast. You go too fast, it runs down the side. like I am making a big mess. Of course, I normally do not, but now that I'm filming it, I'm making a big mess. Okay, now I don't fill it all the way to the top yet. I wait to do that until after I reach the bottom, because the bottom's gonna have the most oatmeal in it. Sorry, this measuring cup was in my dishwasher being sanitized, and it is really, really, really hot. Now that's the other thing, if you're gonna be bottle feeding, you want to be careful about contaminating their it's just like a baby. Their immunity is not quite up to where it needs to be. They're real susceptible to a lot of things. So you want to keep everything really clean. What I do is I tend to have a hot bleach water bath in my sink ready as soon as I'm done feeding them. I come in and I submerge everything in the water with about a 1/4 cup of bleach in it. That way everything gets sanitized, time to dry. Bleach is my preference because the chlorine, the bleach, once it evaporates and dries, a lot of it will not be on there anymore. Once it evaporates, it makes it pretty safe. You can rinse again, you know, rinse it right as you take it out and then set it up to dry. That's not a bad idea to do either. That's what I do. Now you can see there's a lot more oatmeal at the bottom, which is why I don't want to have one that's full of oatmeal and one that's not. So now I can start kind of doing this one. I am making such a mess. Now I'll just dump the rest of this. Now this is the one I started with first, so this one had a lot of oatmeal. The second bottle had a lot more oatmeal than this one, so I tend to give the very last of this to this one, because there's all the oatmeal. There we go. Okay, now I have them both full. They both have the equal amounts of vinegar in them. Now they can both get their nipples. There we go. So these are our cows. This is Penny and this is Hamburger. Now there's a couple different places you guys can get cows. You can get them from a breeder. You can get them from a local farm. You can get them from a sale barn, which I do not suggest. You can get them from something called a cattle jockey, or the person I got them from, now I honestly was probably one of the worst decisions. They came from some place that I would consider almost a calf jockey. He picked them up from local Amish dairy farms, organic dairy farms, and he buys them and he either raises them for veal or sells them. They had a lot of cows in one pen, which is not suggested. These two came from the same farm, so I wasn't too concerned to have them share the same pen. You want to be careful about cross-contaminating, though, because he was a little bit sick when we got him, and she was perfectly fine. He's a lot better. Now she's a touch sick, hence why she has the coat. Now, this is like the worst time of year to be doing this because it's cold and moist. And they can get a cough just like that. He had a cough. Now, I did give him some LA 200 to try and help clear that up. I'm holding off on her. She's still acting really, really happy. Her ears are up. She does not have any dehydration, meaning her skin does not tent when you pinch it. You know, her eyes look great. She jumps around. Her tail wags when you feed her. She gets excited and prances. She still has her stool's a little bit looser than I want it to be, but she does not have full-on scours. You don't want scours to go untreated, but, you know, the person I got them from, now he was loading them up on all kinds of meds, and I just felt bad leaving these two there. I normally would not have suggested to do that for a first-time buyer. But like I said, I really, really liked her personality, and I just felt bad leaving her there. So I figured, you know, I paid $300 for the both of them, and I figured they're better off with me than they are. They were going to be sold to transported several hours away to a big city to be auctioned off, and I just wanted to take them home instead. So now they are on a calf starter already. I have like a sweet feed mix in there. Hi guys, you guys are hungry. There's a sweet feed mix in there. They tend to eat the actual green calf starter first over the sweet feed, which surprises me, but we're going to move them while they're hungry. Now, a couple other things about, my husband just did all this electric. This was kind of an abandoned barn. A couple other things about basic health. I have some brushes and a curry brush, which really helps get the feces off of their coat. And the male, Hamburger, he loves this thing. He'll stand there and preen for you to do this. Now I do have some Corid to help with the scours. This is what can cause, not Corid itself, but there's a bacteria that this helps keep in check in their gut to help avoid. Now I am doing the 5-day treatment in their water. There's other ways to do this as well. And then I also do the vitamin B. This helps if you're going to give antibiotics. You might want to follow up with a probiotic as well as a vitamin B. This helps for when they're stressed as well. There is an injection version of this, but I don't want to stress them any more than they need to, and this seems to be working just fine. You just do it orally, and they since they're bottle fed, they take to that really well. There are some other meds, some scour treatments you can do. Like I said, I haven't really needed to do that at this point, but that's what we're doing so far. Here is the feed. I'm doing the Purina cattle starter for cows. This is the green feed that they like. I also got this one. It's more of a sweet feed, and it smells really good, like apples. This smells really good. And this one's the Total Calf Herd First. I got this from my local feed store, and this one came with a supply. Too far away. Hi, kitty. You be my barn cat? You gonna watch these cows? You're teetering there a little bit. There it goes. Anyways, this is the new pen my husband set up. It'll be our holding spot. Eventually, there'll be a board that goes between here so that it's 2 separate stalls for when we need to do something. Or we'll be able to pull the board out when, like, she's calving. That way she has a bigger stall to herself. But, what?
We still can do that. The board's just gonna sit up against this and go up against there.
Okay. We'll see how it goes. They're eating their calf starter now, and here's their treated water, and they're good to go. This is their new pen. What?
Where are you putting that treated water?
Well, I don't know yet. Where's the Care Bear?
Where's that chain I bought?
Well, I guess we'll figure out how to hang it. Can't set up that feeder, that water, without it. There's my dog. Now, if you guys haven't been keeping up with me on Instagram, we lost both of our dogs in the last 1.5 years. So we got 2 new puppies. This is Cooper. He's going to the bathroom. And that is Peter Parker. My son's named him. We got this Spider-Man collar. And PetSmart and I made a joke about how you're going to call your dog Peter Parker. And it stuck. So he's Parker for short. And the kids call him Peter Parker. And he is a Great Dane German Shepherd mix. And his brother is a full German Shepherd. He's a sable. And I love him. Right, Parker. I don't know if I said his name's Cooper. Anyways, back out to the barn. This is the new barn we put in this past spring. And we decided, we bought the property because of this corn crib grain barn. And I just like looking at it out the back of my window every day. It was never good for anything. It's pretty much been abandoned. The previous owners, they stole a lot of the metal off these buildings because their son had a drug problem. This was years and years ago before we owned the property. So it's just been sitting like this. And we finally decided, you know, with everything going on in the world, and I just want to be more self-sustainable, and I always wanted a milk cow. Hence the dive into cows. We decided this would be the perfect place to stick them. I haven't decided if I think it's best that we leave the crevices open for more ventilation for the cows, or if it's got enough ventilation as is and I want to put more metal up. We'll decide next summer what we're gonna do. But you know, we may get more metal, we may just paint it, because it does have this in between the boards. It needs a bad paint job, but it's a sturdy building. This is like what I think I'm going to turn into, like my tack room. You know, I have the grain sitting here. Well, I'm going to get metal trash cans to keep the pests out. But this is going to be my room. Down the side, there is lots of storage in these side areas, but you know, they're really not good for much, so we just store a bunch of stuff in them. This will be the main area for the cows. Like I said, those are going to be just holding pens. They won't be used regularly. I think I'm going to put free stalls in along this wall, and then do, I'm not sure, maybe their feeder and stuff over here. The waterer will be outside. We're going to hand drill a well out there. Hand drill a well. And then I did put up all this straw for the winter to use as their bedding, as well as a windbreak, because we haven't closed this off yet. Now, it's okay for them not to have a fully enclosed building. That's what the calf coats are for, which she has a calf coat. I wanted to buy it to make sure it fit well before I bought one for him, because he is bigger. So I have one coming in the mail for him, and then they'll both have a coat. Yep. She's chowing away at her calf starter. All right. Well, there you guys have it. We got them moved into their new pen. They got a nice big area here. Soon, maybe I'll do the next video on when we get our fencing. I think we're going to give the mobile Premier 1 electric fence a go for a while, so that they have more grazing ground in the property. We probably will put up some kind of permanent winter paddock, but we'll get there, and we'll probably do some more videos then. But for now, there it is, and we hope you guys had fun on the farm.